Hey guys, it's Lauren. Today is February the 26th, 2024. And as you can see up here in eastern Kentucky, it's a really beautiful day out today. I wouldn't ask for better weather. What am I here today to talk about? I want to talk about something that I've been meaning to talk about for a while, and I hope it's nothing that can get me in trouble. But it is something that we're all going to have to face one day. It doesn't matter whether we're on the spectrum or not. And that is, unfortunately, the death of a loved one. And today I want to share with you my experience that I had losing a loved one back in 2011. But actually, he was a good friend of mine. And how did we meet? We met back in July of 2002. And I was a student in beauty school. At the place that I went to, it was a vocational school for students with disabilities. That day, I was having a bad day, really. I was on the payphone with my grandmother. She was the one that could calm me down in any bad situation. I was almost finished with beauty school at the time, and I was going through a really, really rough week that week. Actually, the whole month I was having a hard time. So anyway, it was like right around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right after school let out. I was just crying, and I was talking to her on the payphone. Back then, we still had payphones. Not a lot of people had cell phones, and the ones that did were really lucky. They were kind of hard to come by back then because they were so expensive. Now everybody's got one, seems like. He comes over and he asked me, "Are you okay?" and all that. And then that's how we got to know each other. Ever since then, we started talking. He called me about every night or so. He wanted to come up and see me, but he couldn't because of time and money and all that. I finished my program in September of 2002. I got my cosmetology license in November of 2002 and immediately started working at my first job with my aunt at the time at a shop that she had. Ever since then, he continued to call me every day, and if not every day, then he'd call me about once every couple of days or at least every week, and we would talk on the phone for hours. He kind of had a lot of our interests in common, but we didn't have like everything in common. I was an overly top overachiever about stuff, got upset at the least thing if I couldn't get something absolutely perfect, and I always had a meltdown, and that's one of the reasons that I can't have a job. And I felt like I had to have a high-end college degree. Having Chris as my friend kind of helped divert me away from that somewhat, and it helped me to realize that it's not everything to have a college degree. I still feel that way a lot. He was a really good friend. He supported me for me, didn't give a crap that I had a disability. We had the same disability? No, had different one. We continued to be friends up until he passed on in February of 2011. And unfortunately, this was an unexpected thing. So what was going on in 2011, I was about ready to graduate from college with a bachelor's degree, and at the time I did not have a YouTube channel, and I had my first iPhone. I had an iPhone 3GS, and I had Facebook at the time. I'd had Facebook for about a year. Not long before he passed on, Chris opened up Facebook, and I would talk to him on Facebook back then through the Facebook chat. Facebook did not have Messenger back then, and nowadays Messenger is a totally different app, even though it's associated with Facebook. About 2 weeks later, it was right around Valentine's Day 2011. I was waiting for my 11 o'clock class, so I had like an hour in between, and I was just sitting around in the school lobby. I was not really expecting anything out of the ordinary. I was just skimming through Facebook when I probably should have been studying. but I was just getting bored and antsy. And I just added his sister as a friend on Facebook not too long ago. And so she messages me right before it was time for class to start. And she gave me the news that he had unfortunately committed suicide the night before. I was really sad. I mean, I didn't know what to say. At that moment, I had anger running through me. I started wanting to have an interim. What I did was I was just up pacing, and I was having a hard time getting ready to focus on my upcoming class in the next few minutes. I grabbed my smartphone and I called my mom and I said, Mom, I got a message on Facebook from Chris's sister saying that he committed suicide last night. And I was trying to be cool, and she told me just try to make it through the day and she'll be home as soon as she can. And I was there and I was just having a hard time making it through the day. And I was just really having trouble with my classes that day. I was just really irritable. And I got home and I just didn't feel good. And Mom takes us to our local mall a couple of days later and lets me spend some money in a gift card that she got me from our local mall. I got mad at some stuff that day anyway, and that on top of Chris, I just literally had a meltdown and started biting, and I ended up breaking a cap off of a front tooth that I had put on when I was much younger, because I'd broken a tooth off when I was almost 9 and had to get a root canal put on it and a cap put on it back in 2005. And that ended up me getting a lot of dental work done, which I hated. I considered saying stuff to his sister about it. I messaged her back and I said, is there anything that I did or said that could have caused him to do that? She said, no, Lauren, it had absolutely nothing to do with you. I was really floored and dealt with it okay. But the point is, I still miss him a lot. I think around 12 years that he's been gone. I can't believe it's been that long. But there's all these what ifs and what nots. Like, what would have happened if he would have still been here? Because he really liked me, and we weren't super ready to take the next step yet. But I did consider him a close friend. If you're on the autism spectrum, sometimes you process things different than a normal person was, but I still miss him every day. When it first happened, it was hard not to think that I might have said something to him that could have hurt his feelings. And I haven't gone through that. It also taught me a lesson. Life is precious. You really need to thank God for every day that you're here, and you don't know what is going through someone else's mind until a harsh reality like that happens. It's not something that you will get over. I will think about Chris until the day I die. It was different having him pass on than what it was to having my grandmothers passed in 2006 and 2014, because they were older, and you can expect that. They were hitting their 90s. Not saying that I wasn't sad when they went. I was. Chris's story was different, and my point is from this, you don't know when your life is going to be taken or when someone else's life could be taken. Be kind to anyone you see, whether they're on the spectrum or not. Stay tuned, because I have more stuff coming up, okay? So, thank you guys. You all have a wonderful day. I love you all. Bye.